After the big success of DMC1, it was bound for Capcom to make a sequel, but sadly this one wasn't actually made by that same team. And of course, this one made the game bad, but in this case it was. There were numerous problems with this entry, as I go over a little bit later. But I honestly would imagine how much worse it was back then, considering there were only 2 games. But nowadays I can honestly say you can skip this entry and play literally all the other ones minus the reboot. You don't want to talk about that one, but I'd say now it's just a good chance to get into the game. As per usual, we'll talk about what I like in this game, and for stuff, I like absolutely nothing, this game sucks. For the dislikes, everything, this game sucks. To review, likes, nothing, dislikes, everything. See ya. Okay, I'm mostly kidding, but let's get into the first thing that I actually do like about this game. The first thing is that, this game actually looks pretty decent. Like the character mods, for example. I can actually say that Dante looks a lot cooler here than he does in DMC1 because DMC1 I think that his hair looks really stupid and like his jacket isn't perfectly right. So I think in this one, he looks a lot cleaner and a lot nicer, and the demon designs are also really nice in this game. So, good job on that, Capcom. There's also some neat additions that they did to the Devil Trigger, and you can actually customize it now. You can either have fire attacks, ice attacks, move really fast, fly, and even stop time apparently. I never got that one, but you can do that, and I actually like how there's a JoJo reference in the game, and now there's nothing wrong with this game, it's absolutely perfect. There's also one small change that they also did to the Devil Trigger, and now when Dante gets to low health, he actually activates this new Devil Trigger form, which basically makes him extremely overpowered, but I guess that's a nice small touch if you ever are in those situations. Another really good thing about this game is that it has a lot of playable characters, and in this case you have Dante, Lucia, a new character introduced in this game, and you have Trish, which is from the last game. And frankly, I found that really nice just because you have more game to play. And Trish, actually, you get her after you complete the game on hard, so you have to play the game through numerous times just to get her. And it's nice, I guess, but I don't really want to play through DMC numerous times just to get Trish. So. But on the topic of Lucia, she actually gets pretty similar DT upgrades like Dante minus the time stop one. So, and the same, for the more or less, they get similar stuff. So that's nice. There are also quite a bit of weapons you can actually get in this game, both being guns and swords. For the swords, it's more or less the same type, but the only difference is the fact that some do more damage but less range, and then some do more range, less damage, and stuff like that. And the guns actually have a similar concept, but some are more rapid fire and do less damage, and some are like not as fast but do more damage, like the shotgun, compared to say the dual pistols, for example. And that's more or less what I liked about DMC2, and I'm sure if you're into DMC in any way, you're gonna figure out what I'm gonna dislike. First off, the areas you go through are really super big and really confusing, and they look pretty similar. For example, in the one part when you get inside the building, they look similar to the point where you can't even tell if you're going in the right direction half the time because like say for example, you go to the left door, they're all like branching paths, and then since it looks so similar, you probably end up near the elevator when you start off, and that's happened to me numerous times, and I'm pretty sure it happened to all of you who ever played DMC2. Now the bosses and the enemies, and I'm actually going to lump them together just because my complaints apply to both of them. And first off, the AI in this game is actually really stupid. First off, the enemies hardly ever act on you in normal mode, so you can never expect to die here. And harder difficulty is slightly different just because they hit harder and they're more aggressive, but I think that's just lazy design because in DMC1, they actually had different enemy spawns at different places on harder modes. For example, the Sin Sigils spawning in Mission 4 and not Shadow, not a lot changes on DMC2's hard mode, but the enemies are still just really annoying, really easy, and you don't hardly ever die in the easier ones. Now let's get into the gameplay, and it's nothing like the original. Instead of the delayed button presses, it's directional based. So for example, if you flick the left stick back, it'll do a different combo more or less. But that's not so bad, and honestly, in this game, they somehow made it work. For some reason, this doesn't really work if you're locked onto the enemy, which is stupid. And the guns, they are really overpowered in this game to the point where you don't really need to use melee weapons. The guns cause so much damage and so much knockback to normal enemies that you might as well just use that. And even with this game, the auto lock-on is really stupid because, like for example, if there are 3 enemies, you constantly be switching in the auto lock-on, and it's not fun to play. Trust me, if you play it or if you look at the gameplay, it's not as fun. It's not as easy as it looks, and it's just really stupid. And speaking of the guns, most of the bosses are actually killed by them. And what I mean by this is that some bosses literally are either too far from you so where you can't hit with your sword, or that the fact that they are really fast in their attack, so you can't really hit them as easily. For example, there's this helicopter boss in which literally all you do is run away and shoot at it, and it's too high up in the air for you to actually hit with your swords, so you actually can't hit it most of the time, which is really stupid. Then there's a just giant golem thing, which it's really fast with when swing, so you literally could just run away and shoot at it in some cases, I guess. And then there's this other one which you basically comes out of a building, which is really cool. But first time I fought it, I literally just stood under it and then shot it until it died. That's really stupid. And actually, a side note, DT guns is actually really overpowered. It's really rapid fire. You can actually destroy anything in a couple of seconds, if not minutes, if it's a boss or something. So that's just really annoying. And then there's Dante himself, and compared to the first game, he's actually really depressed here. He hardly ever talks, and when he does, he doesn't really care much about the situation or what's going on. I can get that he doesn't have much reason to be here, considering he killed off Mondays in the first game, but it's really consoling in this game. For example, when he wants to go help Mate, it's like, oh, well, he flips a coin, and then, it's heads, but like, you could have just said, yes, I'm gonna do it, since he is a demon hunter after all. But let's forget all that and make him like this, I don't know. Now we move on to the upgrade system. Frankly, this is the worst one so far. There were no combo upgrades in this one, and that's consoling for a DMC game. The only upgrades you can get is damage output, and there's a very tiny difference. And also kind of related, the Devil Trigger upgrades don't really do much either. At least you can get different damage one, because they all different elements, but in the end they don't really change much. Now we move on to the playable characters, and I can say they're all just a big eh. I mentioned Dante and Lucia and Trish, but even then, Lucia plays exactly like how Dante does in this game, and it's just not fun to play the same character twice, basically. Trish, on the other hand, she can actually play like how DMC1 did, which is kind of nice, but that doesn't fix the game's problems. The AI is still bad, and honestly, you have to finish Dante's story twice, which I mentioned before, and honestly, it's just not worth it to play the game twice just to get a third character. There's also the story, and honestly, I can say it's okay, just handled a lot better. There's this corrupt businessman, which I honestly think that it could be kind of cool in DMC settings, but he's just really forgettable. All he wants to do is summon this big bad demon, and we actually have no information on this demon, so we don't really care about him as much as, say, Mundus or something, but it's whatever. And even then, in DMC1, Mundus was kind of a lot cooler just because, he messed with your family and he was a big threat to you when you're playing through the game just because he actively went out and killed his minions if they failed. And this guy, all he does is sit around in his chair waiting for everyone to do things for him. So, I know that DMC2 had been done by a different team, but I really do wish that they had looked at the first game and basically improved on that. Because frankly, the DMC1 was actually a pretty decent game overall, just some flaws could have been worked out. But thankfully, they did go on to make DMC3, which is the best in the series, and honestly, it fixes all the problems in DMC1 and 2, so that's really amazing. But before we finish the video, let's go into the likes and dislikes. Likes, good character models, nice DT additions, lots of different weapons to collect, and lots of playable characters. Dislikes, too confusing in too big areas, easy AI, really dumb gameplay concept, overpowered guns, edgy Dante, similar weapons, and the playable characters play for the most part the same. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later.